Someone said something recently to me that totally took me off guard. I shared with them that I have been posting on here daily, consistently for almost 50 days, every day. And as we were talking, it was like a group of us, they went onto my channel and they were like, oh, you are a YouTuber. And my first thought was, am I? Like, I've been posting here on and off now a couple of years, and I've never really identified with that word. It's not even about like the numbers or the views or anything like that, but like how I have been showing up lately, especially since December. I have been like consistently showing up, and how, what I've not even like how not even expected, like how things have been, like the growth. And it was interesting to really like it was just like, oh yeah, I guess you could say I am. And it's not, and my reasoning for wanting to even be here and like what why and what I've learned. And it's very fascinating, the growth that I have. When I mean growth, like in me, in my person, just with the daily showing up and doing this long form video every single day. And I thought, okay, why don't I just kind of like have document this? Let this be my digital like I was gonna say digital documentation. Is that word? Is that how we say it? Of like this, like the intentional aspect of this, of me, like what I'm doing and what I've learned and everything. Because when I've been here like over 6 years. I can't remember exact time I set this thing up and how I've been showing up on and off. And in those seasons, there's been a lot of overthinking, a lot of like procrastination, hesitation, and like trying to perfect things and all those jazzy jazz of like how I was like doing things then with the like hesitation, the fear of like what, or I would go in and disappear and then come in and then waiting to feel ready, waiting for the idea to come, wanting to do all this thing. And then I've been wanting to show up or like trying to get my thoughts clear in what I'm doing. And it wasn't truly landing. I felt like I was just more going towards either over giving the awareness. It got to a point where I felt like I was just in a convincing game than actually speaking to the people who are ready to like support in the thing I was doing at the time. And seeing one of my mentors show up and like how I'm like, okay, I've been wanting to do this anyway. Okay, let's do this. Let's get this ball rolling. Let's get into this. And my intention for wanting to do this is last year, beginning of last year, I've always said, I'm a speaker trainer coach, and you know, wanting to get into spaces and figure out like, and to be able to speak, and with trying to get the slots and things like that, and it not landing, it not happening. Man, let's create ours. Let's really come here and just share my thing, so that the people who, when they're ready, they can then see, okay, this is the deal. This is what Nene is like on about, or like what she's doing and all that thing. And when I started off back in December, it was a case of me, like, yes, speaking my truth. And I did this. Actually, before then, I did like a 30 days series on like the about my interpreting industry and all those things, whole 30 days of that, which I was quite impressed and and I did that bit and how I showed up in December. December, I just really wanted to just come in and just share, but not share in a way of kind of like I was storytelling in a way, or using my life story or what my experience has been, because I don't teach theory. It's what I've lived or what I have coached someone through. So I thought, okay, the thing that I'm wanting to do is what I went through. Like I was my first client. So I will share my story. And with that, when whoever is ready, they would like now see and know all these things. So I was back then in December, I would have like I'll brainstorm the idea, I'll have my script, and then I'll just like come and share. And sometimes it felt very clunky because I had to like check the what I'm trying to say, and I mean it was fine. I did my thing that way, and that then I decided, okay, now in the beginning it felt very teachy kind of like thing. Okay, now let's just add, and I think halfway towards the latter end of December, okay, let's start doing the storytelling element. Let's just really get into using my stories or the stories of my clients or people and really get into it than going from a teaching perspective. And so I went on to that and it started getting, I was okay, it was getting easier in terms of like getting the rhythm to show up and everything. And then when 1st of December landed, I decided, you know what? We're dropping the script. We're just going to go full on, just say what's in the mind. Like let it flow. Let the personality come in, let the rumble come in, let whatever thoughts like some it became it was an interesting thing. Initially I was like, do I have anything to say? What do I get to say? And then I started showing up and doing the video from the fast, and it was like, oh, okay, this is flowing. We're doing a date, right? And started like trusting my voice, and because initially when I started back in December, because I was scripting most of it, I sounded very robotic. I sounded even way before then. Like if you look at my previous videos, most of them were like scripted, and then I would like with the scripting, it wasn't like I was reading a script or like all my videos were scripted. It was like had like a paragraph in and I'll just go deeper into it and I'll go in and that was kind of like giving a prompt. And then I decided to now reduce it down to like a three prompts thing. Because initially I had like a sentence and then I would expand on that sentence and then I'll go into the next one and then expand. Then I decided to like just shrink it to a phrase because what happened was I was now like you can just tell I was reading that sentence and then expanding on it and I'll go and read the next thing and it just did not feel it wasn't feeling good and I reduced it to like a phrase and then I'll go into the phrase and then I was doing it that way. And then 1st of January, I said, no, we're ditching all that. We're going for, let's try without a script. Let's just do that. And then what I'll do is I would like think about, because, it's YouTube and it's all about the attention and all those things. I was like, okay, I'll really think about the hook, like figure out what the hook would be. That I would like like write down and then I would like remember it and then I'll say that script, like not script, excuse me. I'll remember that line and I'll just be that first line and that's it. But it's not that I was reading a line or anything. It's just something that I have like thought about and this is what I'm gonna say. And then everything else is just word vomit in a good way. Um and and that's kind of like how I I decided to just start showing up. And in that progression, even just from December till now, like how I've gone from really stern as like, oh, like okay, how do I like what's the thing? To like, okay, freeing myself now. To now it's like, hey, hello, how we doing? What we saying? What's going on? Like, let's sometimes I'm like I'm hoping it's been making sense. Uh, I believe I've been making sense. And now I'm actually able to express myself and just share the thing that I want to in my own way. I'm finding language in a better way to really express myself. And the other thing as well is like, so like in that beginning of the month and everything, I was doing videos for like I started off like trying to aim for like 10 minutes. And then I'll hit like the 8 to 10 minutes mark. And then I realized, okay, I feel like I'm rambling, or I do this thing where if I don't get the acknowledgement or the nod or like the eye raise or whatever, I would hammer a point. I would say it and then say it in a different way and then say it again and then say it and say it. And I felt that while I'm here, that there was a season where I was hammering on the point. And I think this is the beauty of this being here now, where I don't have like huge views per se right now. And I guess that's the permission. And this is where the freeing of being able to just rumble and just express myself and polish. And then what I tend to do is once I finish the video, I'll then have that transcript and I call it chat GPT, to just evaluate, like give me feedback on how I felt I was doing. And he was telling me, Nana, you're rambling, actually, you're doing. So I decided to like go straight to the point, because remember, I'm not scripting it. I'm not using a script here. I'm not using even prompts. I'm just going free flow. I decided I would shrink how I am, like what I'm saying, so that I'm going straight to the point. So I went in from like 10 to 12 minutes down to like the 6 minutes mark. I was averaging 6.5 thing, because I was just going straight into the point. And then yeah, and now wanting to like stretch it out. So I like being wanting to be able to have this opportunity where I am invited to come and present and speak and do training and workshops and stuff like that. I like we get to have to stretch this thing out. So we're building that muscle. Obviously, when I'm going to do a training, I will have structured, I would have like various things. If I'm doing a presentation, that's different. But here I'm giving myself the freedom and the space to just be able to express and just say what I want, in the sense of like whatever topic it is that I want to talk about every single day. It's like, okay, this is what I want to express and talk about. Now, how can I just say it from myself? So I mean, before I go on, I would like think about it and figure out, okay, these are the points that I might hit, or I have an idea of what it is. And then when I'm here, sometimes what I've thought about before turning the camera on, it's a whole totally different, because of like where it's taken me to. Like I have somewhat like an idea of if it's like a teaching point, the lesson, or what the intention I want people to take away when they listen and or watch the stuff, so that it is what's the word? It's meaningful, and there's a takeaway, and there's something there that could be used. Yeah. So that's always been my intention when I do a video, is like who the person who's listening, what's the take from them, and what that gets to look like. So that yeah, it makes sense, and it's not just me just yapping my pie hole and without no thought of or whatever it is. So in the beginning, I decided, like, again during the beginning of the year, than just picking, because back in December it was just like, okay, what do I feel like talking about today? And then we just like go and talk about it, or like, and then I was doing more kind of like my experiences for like in my work and how those things were coming. And it was just kind of like, yeah, I'm feeling this today. Let's talk about that, a kind of like thing. And then the 1st of January, I decided, okay, let's be more intentional. So I decided to just, let's focus on the becoming. It's a new year, like the next level. Because my thing is all about the identity, like, what's going on in between, like in like whatever it is that we're becoming, like what's that, those inner chatters, those things. How can we reprogram it so that we default to our best self, we can like get in there. So I started off with like wanting to focus on that aspect of the becoming, the beginning of the year, and I kind of like did that right up to yesterday, you could say. And then with the conversation recently, a couple of days ago with my colleague, I'm like, huh, why don't why do I don't know where this is going, right? I just know I've been showing up, and how this has been, how I'm able to just start just expressing, and it's landing, and like the comments I get, and like, wow, this is, and the DMs or conversations I have with friends, or messages from about people who watch that don't comment, but actually have people that they watch my thing and they send me messages of how what it is, and how it's impacting. And moving forward, I just know that as I continue to show up, I will continue to grow and change. Right now, I'm stretching myself to go further in terms of learned. Um, because when I do get those speaking gig and it's a long stuff, I need to start building that muscle of being able to speak longer, being able to like hold up a conversation. So now I'm free, in this period, this early period of like, as we build that muscle of, okay, this is, yes, I'm not using a script, I'm speaking. How am I sectioning in my head that I'm able to express myself so that it doesn't feel like, what the heck is she on about? There's still some structure in there, there's still some whatever that is. So this is a thing. So like with this digital thing, I'm able to now express myself, having this worldview of like, okay, let's now be more like intentional here, not necessarily for like, okay, how do we get the numbers in, or how do we like get the viewers? I believe that as I show up, it to be a knock-on effect with, as I get better at what I do, and as I improve in all those things, it's a possibility. It's like, there is no guarantee that yes, my thing will be sustainable and I will start earning the thing. But the willingness to try, right? To see what happens and to see how it goes. So that's the intention for this, to just show up and see what happens. And I mean, if you're in that space of wanting to start showing up here yourself, or doing something that like, yeah, I want to see what happens, where this thing takes me, or how I can align to this. And yeah, we can, let's have conversation, you know, on like what's the thing that's happening, what's the thing that's showing up. Because what I found with for myself, and when I share that, oh, I'm doing this for every day, and actually I'm wanting to do this every day for the next year, it's like, wow. Because it's not like a short form, it's, I want to like challenge myself to do at least average 30 minutes, at least 25 minutes, every single day. And how does that fit with my life, you know, with work, with my family, with my business I'm running and everything, and wanting the business to be like the main thing and the work to just be like a support or to kind of like die down towards the end, and the business is the thing that is like the core driving thing. And yeah, why don't I digital document that? Okay, now we're starting out at this point. I've been averaging like the last couple of days when I decided to like start opening the numbers and go further, because especially here on YouTube to really get into that the watch time and the whatever, and to see what piques one's interest, to start having some intention to the thing, and yeah, to see how this thing goes is the whole premise of like, yeah, join and witness my journey of the becoming of the business, like of this, and where that would be. And I think also what I'm also want to be mindful of is how I speak, because I've been noticing and I've been taking the pauses, doing the thing of, okay, so I don't do the so, you know, that like kind of like thing, and like reducing that. And I feel now, whereas before it felt like I had to be this, um, even like how I would perform, or like how I was in the beginning. If you look at my videos back in the time, and now it's just kind of like, hey, we're having a conversation, we're having a chat, we're just seeing how things go. Is kind of like how I want this to play on. How can I clean my thing? Because I truly believe that, every master was once a disaster. Anything that we truly want to do, you can never just jump up to like 1,000 or whatever. You have to start from zero. You have to start from that point. But knowing where you start so that you can then have that measurable thing to, okay, this is kind of like, this is my reflection of this series I want to do. And then, have those check-in as time goes on, like, okay, yeah. Remember this video? Like, look at where I am now. Look at all those things. It's just gonna be so interesting. I want a season where like my future me will be like, wow, we did that. We're very intentional and wanting to make this to see, and just like, because I tell you, I've been course corrected. I guess we can talk about that in other videos as we go along, in like how I don't just post, I like look at it, I celebrate, I check like what went well and like how can I improve, what are the things, and then work on that the next time. And as time goes on, it's the same thing as building the reps, because with repetition, you get stronger, you get better, and I have seen that in myself. I've seen that in how I have been with this daily thing, because I always remember this analogy that one of my mentors shared. There are people on this platform that post once a month religiously, and you can see the improvement and you can see their thing. And I'm posting in a couple of days, I'll be 50 days. Imagine once a week. That's 52 weeks. But that's a whole year it would take them. I've done not even up to 2 months. I'm always at that 52. And I don't batch my creation. I do this every single day. I wake like I will talk about my how I do this, but it's a case of like every day I record. If I record all five in one day, then there is no, do you know what I mean? Like if there was like having to have feedback, like, okay, watch this and then see the response and do the next thing and see the response and do the response, you get more growth than having to batch create all the videos and then come back. In other platform, in other things like reels, and like maybe yes, that would work or whatever, because it's like the turnover is like quicker and all those things. But with this, I feel for me, having to do this every single day, film this thing, like the growth in me will again. I will expand on that and I'll document how that I just wanted to like just give an overview of how just in this little time what has changed. And wow, I would just implore you to just do yours. Start the daily thing. If you yes, why not? Do the daily thing as well. Start building the muscle, the clarity in yourself and in if you have a business in the offering or in like how you show up or how you present yourself in terms of like your speech, tonality, your diction, you find all those things that are like, ooh. And that sort of when I go in to those stages and those opportunity, it's just kind of like it's another day. We're just doing it like the conversation in just in a more structured, in a more like beautiful way. So yeah, that's the plan. That's the intention of how like I really want to get this loaded and reflect on how far it's been and the intention moving forward. That's kind of like where we are. So if you want to be a witness of this evolution, this journey that I am embarking in and want to have a conversation, don't forget to subscribe. Click on the notification button so you know when I post and all those things. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Till tomorrow, your voice matters and it's your time to use it. Bye for now.